Cash versus accrual basis accounting. This may be something that you're familiar with from various places, such as taking the financial exam from school, from somewhere else in this course, just from anywhere. But if you're not familiar, we should definitely talk about it because this will impact what's considered gross income. Now, under the cash basis of accounting, this is used for tax purposes and small businesses. And accrual basis, this is used for GAAP, financial, FASB, book, all that good stuff for large companies. Cash basis, income is recognized when the cash is received. So if I perform a service and I don't receive the cash yet, I can't recognize that as revenue. And as such, it would not be included in gross income for tax purposes. And expenses are recognized when cash is paid. This is something that's going to come up throughout the exam. It's going to be pretty important. Also on our book to tax differentiation for corporations, that's going to be important as well. It's a simple and straightforward approach. As cash flows out, that's an expense. As cash comes in, that's revenue. This is going to ignore accounts receivable and accounts payable. Yes, you still make journal entries, not that we have to worry about this for the exam, but generally speaking, right, you're focusing on the money coming in, that's going to be revenue, money going out, that's expenses. That's what's reported on your tax return. Cash basis is used by small businesses and individual taxpayers. It's also just, this is the tax approach. Now for accrual basis, under this method, income is recognized when it is earned and expenses are recognized when they are incurred, regardless of when cash is received or paid. This is where we have things like AR, AP, unearned service revenue, prepays, all that good stuff. Accrual basis accounting provides a more accurate representation of a business's financial health. This is used for creditors, investors. That's why we use it in financial accounting. You're dealing with audits of larger companies. Yeah, that's what you're dealing with there. Accrual basis takes into account just so many other components. But for this exam, we're taking into account cash basis. It's another reason why I highly recommend not taking the financial exam and the regulation exam back to back, because they both use different methods of accounting and it can be confusing seeing them back to back. And there are similar rules, but they're treated differently under each method. Similar concepts, but they have different approaches. This is used by larger businesses and is required for businesses that have inventory and meet specific revenue thresholds. Now, individual taxpayers, these are going to use cash basis. You, as an individual, you're going to be using cash basis. And cash basis is easier. If you were wondering, cash basis is much easier. If for some reason you had to do accrual, just know that would be much more of a headache. Here's an example. Well, suppose we have a freelance graphic designer and they complete a project in December year 3 and they invoice the client for $2,000. However, the client doesn't actually pay the invoice until January year 4. Now, under the cash basis of accounting, the designer would recognize the $2,000 as income in year 4 when the payment is received. However, under the accrual basis of accounting, the designer would recognize the $2,000 as income in year 3 when the invoice is issued, even though the payment is not received until year 4. Big difference. And again, why do we care? Why am I focusing on this? Well, because this has significant impacts for recognizing gross income. As an individual taxpayer, the designer would generally use the cash basis of accounting and report the $2,000 as income in year 4 when the payment is actually received. That's what goes into your tax return.
Hey there! Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material? We'll do it together. Tap into the power of CPA.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.